Hey guys, look, a new Mr. Enter video. Let's go watch it.
You.
9 pounds on the motherfucking bully. I won't allow it, ain't gon' cower to the bully. I'll be damned if I don't stand up to a bully. Fight like a man and throw my hands up to a bully. You must be taking too much.
Guys, we need to talk. And I'm warning you right now that if you didn't like my tone in my April 9th review, you're not going to like it here. I'm going to be very accusatory here, because there's no way I can talk about this without so much vitriol and disgust. We're doing an internet video today, an animation put to a poem called Troll. It's 5 minutes, but to give it a proper review, I've had to do dozens of hours of research on the subject.
Hours of research we will know nothing about because of the terrible way you cite your sources. But we will get to the train wreck known as the sources later on.
We're talking about trolls today, and we're not even talking about mine. This isn't about me. This is about a larger problem that needs to be acknowledged. This is a poem by Shane Kozan, and I know that poems in this day and age seem very passé, but I'll tell you right now that this guy is legit. But this particular poem came about because to this day didn't deal with the online aspect of bullying, because Shane didn't grow up with that type of bullying. So he did some research and dedicated another poem to it. And to those who are saying there's a difference between cyberbullying and trolling, shut the fuck up.
I have a huge problem with statements like this in general. Telling everyone who may disagree with you to shut the fuck up is one of the absolute worst things you can do when presenting an argument. By not giving a voice to your opponent, you just make an ass out of yourself and it really just misses the whole point of debate. But that's not it. There's another big issue with this statement which I'll get to soon.
You want to know the difference? I'll tell you the difference right now, but you might not like the answer. In most cases, it's the difference between a person experiencing their first high and an addict.
Actually, the difference is more on intent. Most trolls don't try to make the victim's real life a living hell. They just want to bother them, while real bullies try their hardest to make the victims' lives terrible, and even try to incorporate it into their real lives.
Ah yes, the slippery slope fallacy. Okay, let's put it this way. Cyberbullies will inevitably call themselves trolls. And here's the real kicker. The benign trolls will defend the actions of the cyberbullies as mere trolling.
Let me ask you this. How do you know that? No, seriously, how? Someone can't always pop out of the blue and oppose the quote-unquote cyberbully.
The line between trolling and bullying is thin and semantic.
Semantic, huh? Well, let's take a look at the Oxford Dictionary. Troll, noun. Make a deliberately offensive or provocative online posting with the aim of upsetting someone or eliciting an angry response for them. Cyberbullying, noun. The use of electronic communication to bully a person, typically by sending messages of threatening or intimidating nature. Bully. Use superior strength or influence to intimidate someone, typically to force him or her to do what one wants. Oh yeah, that's completely semantic.
Is every troll like this? No. And to those who are saying there's a difference between cyberbullying and trolling, shut the fuck up. Is every troll like this? No. And to those who are saying there's a difference between cyberbullying and trolling, shut the fuck up. Is every troll like this? No.
Make up your damn mind already.
But the ones who aren't are people who want assault to be legal because they like flicking other people in the back of the neck.
Turned ourselves into life preservers, hoping to save as many as we could. But the fathers who stood guarding closet doors and the mothers who secured the floors underneath beds all shook their heads, not knowing how to deal with you.
And before you say that something on the internet deserves to be trolled, that's like saying that a statue deserves to get vandalized because you put it outside.
That's a terrible analogy. The big catch with it is that unlike vandals, the only way to stop trolls is by ignoring them. But even then, who the hell is saying something deserves to get trolled? Don't go pulling stuff out of thin air.
Yes, it's more likely, but it shouldn't happen. It only happens because people are dicks.
If you mean by trolling, people aren't dicks there. The only difference between trolls and cyberbullies are their intentions. If it was intended to be hurtful, it is cyberbullying. If it is to enrage someone over trivial things, it can always be a troll.
You began uploading yourselves into our homes. You had computer screens for eyes and software for bones.
Like the trolls who built viruses that could hack into webcams.
Care to give any proof? An example? Or are you just gonna spout things that you can't even show is true? And I know what you may be asking, but what if it might be in the sources they mentioned? I checked them. The sources are a video by Boogie2988 that basically tells you to ignore the trolls, Cute Fuzzy Weasel, which we will get to later, 2 sources from Yahoo and CNN, which automatically make them defunct, and 2 sources from Newsweek and Telegraph. I checked them all. Not one of them mentioned these things. So, I will guess that the game is this one. If so, it is pretty fucking open that this is doing it intentionally and you would know that it's trolling you.
And really, this is the central problem with the whole video. Basically what you're doing is taking random internet-related crimes and tacking the word troll onto them to bolster your case and hoping nobody will notice. I'm not saying these things aren't wrong, they're heinous crimes and the people committing them should be brought to justice. However, to label all these people as trolls is dishonest and paints a very skewed and false view of the world. Go ahead and block me, but the simple fact is that trolls and cyberbullies are not the same thing. You have to realize that there is a line between the two that lies mostly on intent. Trolls do things simply to get a laugh out of people who react to them. Cyberbullies are malicious. I don't think the majority of trolls would be willing to break the law in a manner that could reasonably lead to them being caught just to get a kick out of some moron on the internet. I don't have any statistics to back this up, but until you can give me hard evidence that these people that break the law and hack into webcams are just trying to get a laugh out of it, why should I have to either? Two can play this little conjecture game.
Smoke weed every day.
You turned your hate into stones and hurled them at beauty as if you couldn't bear to see anything other than ugly, anything different.
This is one of the stronger lines of the poem. I mean, let's start with the obvious. The trolls photoshopping people and things they didn't like into porn because they thought it was funny.
And these people are trolls because I said so, and if you disagree with me, I'll just block you. Oh, but we'll get to that little train wreck later.
It was funny until that poor girl's parents found it, before her school found it, and before she committed suicide because she couldn't take the harassment. And the knee-jerk reaction is that if people couldn't take this kind of harassment, they shouldn't have been on the internet. You know, there was a man who burned to death, but he probably should have been less flammable. You see, that excuse only works until you realize that you're talking about a human, and humans have limits, not only physical, but mental and emotional as well.
But human beings are capable of control as well. You can just turn off the computer or keep that certain website out of your range of browsing. Heck, you can even just block the person who's bothering you.
You had fingernails like flint and scraped them along decency, hoping we would be the ones to all catch fire.
A clever way to describe something as seemingly innocuous as starting a flame war for no particular reason. It's funny, really. That kind of chaos was once thought to only be capable by mythological gods, easily disrupting order just for shits and giggles.
You know, I think if you stopped dealing with trolls as if they were mythological gods, most of your problems would go away.
At this point, not beating the trolls is like ignoring a bully.
I'm sorry, I thought trolls and bullies were the exact same thing. Why are you comparing them as if they are somehow different in any way?
It isn't cute. It isn't funny.
The only one who would ever find trolling funny is the troll who did it.
Well, I guess the subscribers of people like Liger13vids and Mari Teplemer would like to differ. I know you're talking about cyberbullies, but the idea is it's more like a Venn diagram. There are a lot of people separate from on the other side and a few in the middle combined. That easy. Only a slight handful are cyberbullies. A lot of them are just one or the other.
Anyone else who finds fun from your sadistic behavior is just an asshole.
So basically, if I laughed at someone being trolled, I'm a total asshole. Don't you love the burning smell of shit we mixed with generalizations in the morning? I sure do.
You've talked strangers into death and laughed.
Don't tell me it doesn't happen. When someone disliked on the internet has finally committed suicide, there's nothing but celebration as the trolls dance on their proverbial grave.
Yes, it does happen, and yes, it's horrible. But there are trolls who do stop, who do consider, and if they are doing what you're saying, they probably aren't trolls. They're dicks.
I cannot personally imagine what it would be like to be famous specifically for doing something bad. Hell, the Star Wars kid that you all laughed at had to relocate due to the trolling and harassment. And I will remind you that he was filmed and the video was put on the internet without his consent.
You have coaxed the sober back into bars, handed out cigars at memorials, offered nooses, cliffs, and pills to those who unfortunately found you before they found help.
I've seen this kind of stuff with my own eyes. Whether it be random people posting bullshit on Facebook memorials about how they're happy whoever is gone, or a fucked up individual making websites designed to mislead people into making irreversible life choices. The goal of trolling is essentially to steal enjoyment out of another person. Even the most benign forms of trolling. That is the essence.
I think the people over at the Minstraft collaboration would like to say something to you. The fact is that you are ignoring a good enough portion of trolls to forget that trolling just means to say something you don't believe in, so you can get some fucking attention!
You have praised suffering. waltzed in between tragedies, gracefully dipping misery as if we would somehow be impressed with the dexterity of your animosity.
Just watch Cute Fuzzy Weasel's reviews of Measy Murderface or James the Preacher if you want evidence of that.
Wait a minute. You know who Cute Fuzzy Weasel is, yet you are essentially saying that most trolls are cyberbullies? He has reviewed many trolls, and yes, there are people like Measy Murderface, but he has also done people like Jared Milton and Mario the Plumber, who have never said shit like this and are just trying to bother people. Yes, he does explain that the world doesn't need this cruelty, but it's not like those people are causing the filth you are talking about. They are just having fun and nothing else.
Whether they're saying things just to piss people off, or they're really just fucked up individuals, does it really matter? Does the world need that kind of filth?
Well, why not? Different people have different senses of humor, and what you might find to be filth, others may find to be humorous.
Even now, you somehow see this as an invitation to turn your keyboards into catapults, wondering which one of you can be the first to hate this best.
I know that this video is going to attract trolls, and I want to tell you a story. I scrolled through the comments of this video on YouTube, and I blocked everyone who had the "there's a difference between cyberbullying and trolls" mentality.
You fucking what, mate?
And I blocked everyone who had the "there's a difference between cyberbullying and trolls" mentality.
My god, you screwed up this time. This is probably the most idiotic, immature, and useless thing I've heard this entire month. You've blocked every single person, even if they might have a good point that you agree with, just because they don't believe that trolling and cyberbullying is the same thing. And next you say that what they're saying is filth that shouldn't belong on your channel. And no, I am not doing this because I could keep making PonyLover239 videos. And by the way, that was me. Not just because I don't like your content either. Not even because you barely prove your points. I did this because even though all this was horrible, people cheered you on. These 2,500 likes you have gotten at the time of me recording this are not deserved. Especially since what we are saying is proving your points completely and utterly wrong.
And do you realize the damage that you're enabling by spitting in the face of fair and balanced debate with your little Nazi policy on people who dare to question your undeniable ideology, that there can never be any difference between a cyberbully and a troll?
It brings me back to this point. The people who are saying that there's a difference between cyberbullying and trolling just so they can keep trolling are pretty much saying that we should keep assault legal because they like to flick people in the back of the neck.
Even though those are two heavily different situations.
You're loathing, already dressed in riot gear, ready to incite rage, as if each message board is a stage where you recite hostility, turning freedom of speech into freedom of cruelty.
That is my favorite line of the poem. These people will defend their actions under freedom of speech as they stalk and harass someone, send them things like vibrators in their P.O. box, all to stifle the opinion of someone that they don't like.
The irony of that statement is just too much to put into words.
We were once upon a time told that none of you exist. We dismissed you as make-believe or myth now, armed only with resolve. We can no longer afford to tell ourselves that you aren't real. We will not let you make your dinners out of the things we feel.
Blocking a troll only gets rid of the people wasting their time trying to waste other people's time. It doesn't stop the real problems.
Then why'd you block everyone who said there was a difference? Not to mention that this idea takes away the point that your Boogie2988 source is telling, since it tells you to ignore these trolls.
The don't feed the trolls philosophy is part of the bystander effect. If you ignore the problem, it just might go away. It's not.
Have you even tried?
The simplest form of trolling is on the same enjoyment level of flicking a spitball at someone.
If that's all it is, why do you describe things like driving someone to suicide as mere trolling?
I want to end off the video like this. If you feel that someone is trolling you and it really bugs you, don't engage any further with them and block them. Just simply block them. If they make another account, block that one too and just to continue to not engage. It's literally as simple as that. If you feel you're being harassed and you're legitimately getting scared, contact the police. They can track IPs. People can get sent to jail for that, okay? We have laws against harassment for a reason. Don't publicize it. Just stay quiet for the time being and go to the police. It's as simple as that, okay? Let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, I felt that I was getting harassed. I was actually just getting trolled. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. The two people in question continued to tweet me and I kept engaging. I'm really not comfortable repeating what they were saying though. It was really getting on my nerves. I finally realized that I just wanted it to stop. I blocked them. They made other accounts and I blocked those too. After I believe 1 or 2 more accounts getting blocked, everything went back to normal. I never heard from them again, and it was at that point that I realized if I ever face anything like that again, blocking and ignoring is literally the solution. That's all I want to say.
Guys, we were really serious in this video. Can we never do that again, please?